Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. We're going to get started. Thank you to West Bloomfield High School Instrumental Music Department under the direction of Mr. Jesse Sachs and Miss Linda Trotter. Mrs. Sherry Hauk and Laker Express will now lead us in singing of the Star Spangled Banner. Please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you. And now, members of the WBHS Laker Express and senior choir members will now sing a salute to the senior class.
I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Walk in your rainbow paradise. Strawberry lipstick, state of mind. Stargate so lost inside your eyes. Would you believe it? You don't have to say love me. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to say you're mine. Honey, I walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Oh, honey, I walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. It's the only thing I'll ever do. Like it's the only thing I'll ever do. Under summer skies, nighting and lemon over eyes. Would you believe it? You don't have to say you love me. I just wanna tell you something. Lately you've been on my mind. Honey, I walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Oh, honey, I walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. It's the only thing I'll ever do. It's the only thing I'll ever do. 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 Oh, walk through fire for adore you. Oh, honey, walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. It's the only thing I'll ever do. Walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Oh, honey, walk through fire for you. Just let me adore you. Like it's the only thing I'll ever do.
Thank you so much, Laker Express. It is now my privilege to introduce today's honored guests. First up, Mrs. Stacy Brickman, School Board President. Mrs. Julie Beatty, School Board Vice President. Dr. Nelson Hirsch, School Board Secretary. Mr. Ken Ferguson, School Board Trustee. Mrs. Deborah Evans, School Board Trustee. Mrs. Carol Finkelstein, School Board Trustee. Mrs. Christy Forhan, School Board Trustee. Dr. Gerald D. Hill, Superintendent. Mr. Eric Whitney, Assistant Superintendent, Talent Development and Management. Mrs. Christina Elson, former School Board Trustee. Mr. Eric Pace, Principal of West Bloomfield High School. Assistant Principal, Mrs. Susie Eisner. Assistant Principal, Mr. Jamie Glins. Assistant Principal, Dr. Stephanie Griffin. Athletic Director, Mr. Eric Pierce. Mrs. Megan Hertzai, Class Sponsor. Mr. Kyle Landon, Class Sponsor. Thank you so much to everyone mentioned for all you do for us and our community. And now, I am proud to introduce Audrey Ganawan as our class speaker.
Thank you, everyone. Good morning, students, faculty, family, and friends of West Bloomfield High School's graduating class of 2021. My name is Audrey Ganawan. I'm the president of student government at WBHS, and I'm honored to be representing our class on this very special day. I'd like to thank our superintendent, Dr. Hill, our administration, Mr. Pace, Mr. Glins, Dr. Griffin, Ms. Eisner, Mr. Pierce, and all our teachers and staff. You make the deliberate choice every day to impact our lives and have helped us get here, sitting proudly in our caps and gowns. Thank you to all the families and friends who have gone through the roller coaster of high school along with us students. I want to thank my brother, Mike Oka, who over the past 18 years has consistently put his full faith in me throughout all my pursuits. And the biggest thank you of all, my parents. First-generation immigrants who made countless sacrifices to build a life for me. My dad, who taught me to pursue my passion and to follow my dreams, because when you do what you love, you will love what you do. And my mom, my best friend in the whole world. I don't think she knew that all along, the person I wanted to be most like was her. I'm honored to have this speech to share a bit about what the last 4 years have meant to us, as a graduating class, as a community, and as a generation. Freshman year, we came in scared, nervous, voiceless. Sophomore year, we grew in confidence. Some of us got cars, and we all got a little taste of that wonderful thing called independence. Junior year, we complained loudly about standardized testing and college applications. But senior year was different. The noise was deafening. We suffered through a pandemic that's taken millions of lives. We saw the heartbreaking deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and far too many others. We felt the rise in Asian American hate, felt the pressures of an increasingly polarized society, and experienced the countless divides this year tried to put between us. And yet, at the same time, we found our voices. What truly makes us special, what is driving us to be the most impactful generation of students this world has seen, is our ability to capitalize on our differences. There's a beautiful diversity to this graduating class. Every day, we get to interact with people varying in race, religion, gender, and so many other aspects of identity. And these differences give each of us a voice, something noteworthy and individual and unique to bring to the table. As a group, we've learned to use what makes us unique to create our own impact in the world. When I look back on high school, I won't remember our grades or test scores, but I'll remember our legacy. I'll remember us as the generation that took social media far beyond its purpose and started a wave of truly productive activism. I'll remember seeing classmates promote Instagram fundraisers for COVID relief, opening Snapchat and learning about cultural history from my friends, and attending peaceful protests organized by the same students I have the privilege of attending school with. This year, we found our voices. And in our voices, we found power. As I look out over this group, I see the next generation of doctors, entrepreneurs, environmentalists, lawyers, politicians, educators, activists, and much, much more. Above all, I see the next generation of change makers. Class of 2021, this is our legacy. The kids who joined hands to unite against hate, evil, and darkness. The kids who learned to rise up in light, power, and voice. The kids who changed the world. As we embark on our future paths, I ask you to remember the words of Alice Walker. The most common way people give up their power is by thinking they don't have any. Our voices have the explosive power to create impact if we use them. Each and every single one of us. We're emerging from this pandemic stronger than ever, and after this year threw everything at us, against all odds, we've graduated to a life of opportunity, impact, and change. That's pretty damn special. To the West Bloomfield High School graduating class of 2021, I hope every single one of us continues to commit to our passion and that we always embrace what makes us unique. I hope we continue to find our voice and with it, our power. Thank you so much and congratulations, class of 2021. And now I turn the ceremony over to Mr. Eric Pace, principal of West Bloomfield High School.
Welcome, families, friends, loved ones, to the West Bloomfield High School 2021 Commencement Ceremonies. I am so pleased to be able to host you all here in person to celebrate our graduates. I would like to begin by thanking a few individuals who have worked around the clock to pull this all off. To the West Bloomfield High School and the school district teachers, staff, and administrative assistants, you all have moved mountains to make this day possible for our students. The parents, thank you for sharing your children with us. You have entrusted us to take care of your most prized possessions for the past 4 years. We appreciate your support, and you deserve this moment as well. To the school district maintenance, custodial, and auditorium staff for their efforts in assembling this stage, these seats, and for making it possible to have our celebration here today. To the school district central office administration and our Board of Education, your guidance, empowerment, and trust have allowed our students to grow and learn and to become the graduates you see before you today. Finally, the West Bloomfield Education Foundation, the countless grants and support you have made and for the masks that each of our graduates received for the ceremonies today. And now the graduates of 2021, congratulations. Today, we honor you for reaching one of the most amazing life milestones that one can achieve. Today, we recognize your graduation. We should start off by addressing the proverbial elephant in this outdoor room. Today's graduation is like no other in history. Today, you create history. Instead of focusing on what should have been, or what could have occurred, or what we've missed, I would like to focus on what can be, what will occur, and the impacts that you will make. I would be remiss, however, to ignore the fact that our world, our nation, and our community has been in a state of unrest, uncertainty, and of hurt. As students, and now as graduates, a global pandemic and civil unrest have forever changed you, but that does not have to dictate or predetermine what comes next. As a class, I have been privileged to watch you grow from wide-eyed, nervous freshmen into the pillars of leadership in our school community. Your resiliency, determination, and grit are unmatched. In the face of extreme adversity, you not only rose to the challenge, but you led and you overcame with a tenacity that I have never seen before. You are truly the future that our world is looking for. Looking forward, much of what we see may appear uncertain, but I beg to differ. I see a few things that are crystal clear. I can see a new group of young adults that is about to be thrust into this world to tackle problems that many before them never could have imagined. It will take your proven innovation, critical thinking, kindness, and creativity to provide clarity and progress to our future. I see in this graduating class in front of me doctors, policymakers, those willing to serve and protect, those willing to fix and to create things in ways unseen, and those who will be the agents of change in the two ways that we know best, through empathy and education. Your dedication to your education and growth is unmatched. You are bringing forward the greatest thinking skills, collaborative tools, and creative problem-solving strategies that we have ever seen. What makes you truly unique, though, is how you empathize with others, to learn through feelings and emotions, and to stand with each other for the greater good. I see a group of people who are not divisive nor divided. I see scholars in front of me who can and will teach us how to work together and to steer us into calmer waters. For this, I am grateful. We can all learn from you how to put ourselves in a position to feel what others feel and to make decisions and take actions necessary to grow together. To quote Malcolm Gladwell from his book, The Tipping Point, to create one contagious movement, you often have to create many small movements first. I implore you to see what the world has to offer, reach out to your peers that are entering adulthood with you, and to create the small movements that lead to large change. This is where you take the adversity you've been challenged with, learn from how you overcame, and you become the leaders of not just tomorrow, but of today. As Malcolm Gladwell describes, look at the world around you. It may seem like an immovable, implacable place. It is not. With the slightest push in just the right place, it can be tipped. In Greek mythology, Atlas took the world onto his shoulders. No longer should that be one person's burden. This is your opportunity to take the weight of the world that gets heavier by the day and to show us all how to carry it together. You, the West Bloomfield High School class of 2021, you are the leaders who will be the first to lighten the weight of the world and teach us all how to do it together. Congratulations. I am so proud of what you have accomplished, and I cannot wait to see the impacts that you will have. Dr. Hill, these candidates for graduation before you have met all requirements set forth by the state of Michigan and the West Bloomfield Board of Education to culminate their education as graduates of West Bloomfield High School. This includes, but is not limited to, 4 credits of mathematics, 4 credits of English and literature, 3 credits of science, 3 credits of social studies, a half credit of health, half credit of physical education, 1 credit of fine or applied arts, and 3 credits of global language and/or career and technical education. Please accept my recommendation for each student seated before you today to become graduates of West Bloomfield High School.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. By the power vested in me by the Board of Education and in accordance with the laws of the state, I hereby confer upon you the degrees to which you have demonstrated your entitlement to the satisfaction of this faculty. I therefore grant you full rights and privileges and challenge you to use your learning in such a way as to bring honor to your alma mater and to the entire family of man. Congratulations, graduates. First, I'd like to share a few comments before we get to the main event. Graduates, you are to be proud of what you've achieved in achieving this milestone. It represents a tremendous amount of hard work and dedication, and you can be proud of your accomplishments, your resilience, and your compassion for others. Today also represents the beginning of a new and promising challenge as you embark on your continuing journey, whether that is going on to a college or university, a technical school, the military, or the workforce. Your journey will include unexpected challenges as well as unimagined joys as you pursue your dreams. As you begin your post-high school journey, I encourage you to reflect not only upon the past 4 years, but especially upon the past 15 months and how you can use these experiences of coping in a worldwide pandemic that tested your resourcefulness and resolve to face the unexpected. From these experiences, you've learned the importance of being resilient. In a recent TED Talk, Dr. Lucy Hone, a noted psychologist, observed that resilient people get that there are terrible things that happen and that suffering is a part of life, but you're not alone. Resilient people are good at carefully choosing what to pay attention to. They don't dismiss the negative, but find a way of tuning into the good and trying to find things to be grateful for. And finally, resilient people ask themselves, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? They are kind to themselves, and by answering this question, they put themselves back in the driver's seat. Your resilience has been tested over the past 2 years, and it will continue to be tested in the future. As you begin life after high school, remember all that you've learned and experienced here, and position yourselves to seek opportunities to continue learning, growing, and contributing to society while meeting life's challenges and enjoying life's adventures. As you do, heed these words from one of America's most prominent poets, Maya Angelou. Open your eyes to the beauty around you. Open your mind to the wonders of life. Open your heart to those who love you, and always be true to yourself. Congratulations, class of 2021. Okay, and now let's get to the moment you've all been waiting for. It's time to receive your diploma. To begin this, it is my distinct pleasure to begin by announcing your class officers who will receive their diplomas. First, we have Audrey Ganawan, Student Government President. Alicia Sangvi, Student Government Vice President. Navia Pango, Class Treasurer. Jack Turpin, Class Officer. Rave Andrews, Class Officer. Reet Grewal, Class Officer. Are you Carly? Okay. Carly Duffield, Class Officer. and Tess Cadian, class officer.
All right, at this point in time, will the first row of graduates please rise and line up to join us for the ceremony?
Do you want to go first? You can go first. Someone go first. I'll go first. Do I say the middle name too?
Yeah. Put your face real close to the mic.
Christopher Leo Osborne.
Aaron Robert Kyle. Victor Lambov.
Evan Makovich.
Alexander Collage. Victor Mangrukal.
Mary Manjo.
Sarah Sandiha. Vanessa Hernandez.
Carson Perry.
Kellen Jameson Perry. Evan Griffion.
Faith Johnson.
Alexandra Eisenberg. Chloe Boyer.
Alana Kirandongo Bonzo.
Adi Mizrahi. Jada Lee.
Abigail Alana Larkey Saven.
Maddie J. Smith. Rachel Zabriskie.
Maxwell Goldstein.
Jonathan Tashka. Evan Pelkey.
Braden Dalton.
Vincent Jeffrey Valenti. Jack Arizo.
Sophia Sampson.
Madeline Page Kosh.
Peyton Kapalungan.
Jalen Adams.
Hi, what is your name? What is it? Oh, Muhammad. Muhammad Gower.
Tyler Peoples.
Benjamin Musial.
Julius John Mikhael.
Megan McCullough.
Alona Losi.
Anna Shaw Videla.
Noah Christopher Baker.
Janaea Shireen Limbo Dinglasan.
Maya Christina Reyes Araquil.
Elisheva Kai Roberts.
Christina Ann Sylvester.
Abigail Lee Rose.
Sophia Mashkovich.
Amy Leela.
Denise Grigorov.
Raleigh Hohenstein.
Olivia Laddiser.
Tanya Dulapudi.
Fiona Castrati.
I'm saying. Wait, I'm saying. Fatima Syed.
Raksha Streeter.
Adriana Sagmani.
Mariana Karana.
Isabella Mio.
Taylor Danielle Philby.
Lauren Demore.
Sanskriti Barnwall.
Sama Khan.
Wait, did someone get yours? How do you say it? Alina Sharif. Alina Sharif. Oh, someone needs to do. Or I'll just do yours too. Teba Hashmi. Is that how you say it?
Sharbano Raza.
Marithika Senthil Nathan.
Amulia Settler.
Datriel Shania Alexander.
Jeremiah Henry.
Grace Allred.
Megan Wyman Mack. Aiden Vance.
Amelia Simmerl.
Madison Coop. Shane Boivenu.
Braden Turner.
Kylie Roth. Joseph Matthew Landra.
Corey Pitts.
Maya Danielle Brown. Eddie Grantling.
Isaac Grandy.
Caden Alvin Halliburton. Sabrina Kamaj.
Kipris Blazavicius.
Jonathan Webster. Neka Amadi.
Acacia Bobo.
Shania Marie Baker. Aaron Jeremy Wolf.
Do you want your middle name? Ryan Andrick.
Chanel Taylor. Malia Shelby.
Sean Burke.
Ryan Michael Mackey. Jacob Morrissey.
Aria Origi.
DeLon Johnson. Jillian Van Wagner.
Bonnie Burton.
Geneva Marie Musial.
Do you want your middle name? Okay.
Arena Rodeo Nova.
Drew Bowen Silsky.
Aiden Galati. Caleb Jones.
Andre Dusa.
Mark Losey. Jake Wardle.
Benjamin Schneer.
Aran Mizrahi. Hussein Saifuddin.
Mohammed Bashir Sakala.
Ayush Mitesh Shah.
LeVar.
Alexander LeVar Kirk.
Dejan Hill.
Alan Sumler. Anthony Michael Juba.
Sydney Chungag.
Valerie Teresa Dabish. Chanel Jadon.
Victoria Rashevsky.
Caleb Berdovich.
Joseph Toronto.
Nolan Lewis Bembis.
Joseph Peranto. Is that it?
Bradley Aaron Rubin.
Is it Peranto or Peranto?
John Thomas Burl III.
Do you want the middle name? Alexander Julius Caro. Alexander Julius Caro.
Christopher Aloysius Strell.
Do you want the middle name? Okay. Take Ryan.
Luke Edelheit.
Jake Ryan Elson.
Brendan Eder. Leah Vachelle Gill.
Julian Farr.
Mahmood Khattab. Shail Pokel.
Kiera Wallace.
You can say the middle name if you want to, but if you think you can.
London Outlaw.
Yeah. He said the name. If you don't want to, yeah. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
Destiny Ifedima Nadupu.
Simone Christina Tucker.
Kylie Michelle Troop. Haley Monet Claxton.
Liel Jones.
Lauren Jordan. Morgan Nicole Pruitt.
Wait, how do you say the last name? Aharuka? Bianca Obianaju Aharuka. Is that good?
Lauren Davis. Elizabeth Brenner.
Is it Oregon? Jonas Oregon.
Abigail Webster.
Escobar?
Garrett Kerr.
Brandon Escobar.
Samuel Lafada. Rico Iglesias.
Dylan Mazer.
Cole Caspers. Jakari Jackson.
David Unagu.
Malik Kameha. David Thomas.
Edward Carell Davis. Does that mean we're done?
Sage Tyler Golden. Jade Goodlow.
Lola Anjanette Chambers.
Quinn Ramon Davis.
Anila Mitchell.
Madison Monet Lloyd.
They want to be Simone. Kennedy Simone Bryant.
Terrell Curtis Thurman.
Ossian Emil Harris.
Aiden Kitu.
Andrew Situ.
Zain Abuzara.
Derek Mitchell.
Vito Romita.
Daniel J. Littman.
Mirage Hussein.
Laith Amona.
Shannon Raquel Rashan.
Zuriel Johnson.
Ashley Jenkins.
Brooke Marielle Ellison.
Emmanuel Oviasu.
Aries Williams.
Andre Jonte Wright II.
Richard Solomon Weaver.
Juliana Renee Davis.
Janae Davier Willis.
Logan Lewis.
Wendell Grant Lenton.
Damon Raphael Turner.
Bryce Richard Smith.
Emmanuel Eugene Mitchell.
Jaden Anthony Rembert.
Christopher Lamont Johnson.
Ryan Oden.
Derry James Pryor.
Christian Alexander Harris.
Thomas Antoine McGee.
Jaden Allen Green.
London Hamilton.
Carson Stewart.
Maxwell Washington Hairston.
Miles Walker Phillips.
Travis Reese.
Aurelie Corral Garcia.
Alexis Martinez.
Maya Burton.
Gavin Christian Hardiman.
Niles Alexander King.
Donovan Elin Edwards.
John Johnson.
Carson Lee Dorsey.
Kennedy Stewart.
Morgan Alexis Desir.
Jessica Chinwe Okoye.
Michaela Tishelle Hester.
London Tanaya Williams.
Jacob Monet Al Hassan.
Jordan Anthony Hoskins.
Makai Lenzel Elam.
Emmanuel Anthony Bell.
And with that, I proudly present to you the West Bloomfield High School class of 2021.
Can everyone see? Ready? Or wait, you guys can all just read your own. Just be really loud.
Okay. Sit. Ready? One.
Oh, people are throwing
Just
their
go.
hats.
1, 2.
No, they all threw their
One.
hats.
Okay, let's just do
One.
it.
West Bloomfield High School, class of 2021. Turn your tassels from right to left.
Now you can.
Good afternoon. Thank you, West Bloomfield High School Instrumental Music Department, under the direction of Mr. Jesse Sachs and Miss Linda Trotter. Mrs. Sherry Hauk and Laker Express will now lead us in the singing of Star Spangled Banner. Will everyone please rise?
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Members of the WBHS, Laker Express, and senior choir members will now sing a salute to the senior class.
I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Walk in your rainbow paradise. Strawberry lipstick, state of mind. I get so lost inside your eyes. Would you believe it? You don't have to say love me, you don't have to say nothing, you don't have to say you're mine. Honey, I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Oh, honey, I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Like it's the only thing I'll ever do. Nor yonder under summer skies, brown skin and lemon over eyes. Would you believe it? You don't have to say love me, I just wanna tell you something, baby, you've been on my mind. Honey, I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Oh, honey, I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. The only thing I'll ever do. Like it's the only thing I'll ever do. The only thing I'll ever do, 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 the only thing I'll ever do. Walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. Oh, honey, I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. The only thing I'll ever do. Walk through fire for you, just let me adore you. I walk through fire for you, just let me adore you.
Like it's the only thing I'll ever do.
I would now like to introduce our honored guests. Mrs. Stacy Brickman, School Board President, Mrs. Julie Beatty, School Board Vice President, Dr. Nelson Hirsch, School Board Secretary, Mr. Ken Ferguson, School Board Treasurer, Mrs. Deborah Evans, School Board Trustee, Mrs. Carol Finkelstein, School Board Trustee, Mrs. Christy Forehand, School Board Trustee, Dr. Gerald D. Hill, Superintendent, Mr. Eric Whitney, Assistant Superintendent, Talent Development and Management, Mr. Kyle Anderson, Assistant Superintendent for Business and Operations, Mr. Eric Pace, Principal of West Bloomfield High School, Assistant Principal, Mrs. Susie Eisner, Assistant Principal, Mr. Jamie Glintz, Assistant Principal, Dr. Stephanie Griffin, Athletic Director, Mr. Eric Pierce, Mrs. Megan Hertzai, Class Sponsor, Mr. Landon Kyle, Class Sponsor. I would now like to introduce Ava Bell as our class speaker.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ava Bell, and I am your class president. Today, I have the honor and privilege of giving the student commencement address to my graduating class of 2021. As a class, we have experienced so much in our last 4 years. We entered West Bloomfield High School as excited and apprehensive freshmen, wanting to experience everything we could. We were greeted by Leroy every morning, reminding us, "You matter." We had our first pep assemblies and high school dances. We joined clubs like HOSA, Student Government, AAA, and DECA. We also supported our varsity football team at Ford Field as they battled for the state championship. Through our econ, civics, bio, and English 9 classes, we earned our way to the next year. Sophomore year, we were more knowledgeable and knew our way around the school. WB got its first renovation with new hourglass desks, rolly chairs, and study pods. Some of us chose to take honors classes this year and spent our free time memorizing polyatomic ions, trig laws, and reading Pudd'nhead Wilson. Many of us turned 16 and were able to drive. It was an exciting time, especially for Mr. Avery to give out all the new parking passes. Junior year, we became upperclassmen, finally nearing the end. We prepared to take the SAT and the ACT and started thinking about what we wanted our futures to look like. We took a trip to outer space at homecoming and later in December said goodbye to Mr. Watson. At the end of junior year, we entered a global pandemic and had to start doing our schoolwork from home. It was hard for all of us, quarantining and not being able to see friends or family and having to learn online. Our senior year wasn't what we had expected and hoped for all our lives. The year started online with Zoom classes and asynchronous work. We went months without being able to walk into West Bloomfield High School. But as our class saying goes, it is what it is. Finally, after lots of back and forth, second semester, we were able to see one another, laugh, and learn together. School was back to being semi-normal, with Jess and Antonio waving to us in the halls, teachers giving us lots of paper assignments, and Mr. Pace running down the hallway with his cart. I don't know about my peers, but to me, it felt like this day would never come. With all the challenges and trials of the past year, standing before you all is a dream come true. Since the beginning, I have looked forward to walking across this stage, receiving my diploma, and turning my tassel. While it can be tough to leave a place you have called home for so long, it's important to recognize the memories that will be with you forever. The laughter, the smiles, the tears, the walks, the groans are all part of our adventure at West Bloomfield High School. The past 4 years haven't been easy, but we've made it. I'm so incredibly proud of each and every one of us for persevering and making it to graduation. And today, after we leave West Bloomfield High School for the last time, we have an opportunity. Now is our time to chase our passions and pursue our dreams. All of the people we look up to, our heroes, mentors, leaders, all started their lives as an average person like you and me. And like them, we have the power to achieve greatness. As Jean Houston once said, we all have extraordinary coded within us waiting to be released. I implore all of you to recognize your greatness as you enter the world. You are brilliant, powerful, strong, and extraordinary. Each and every one of you has the potential to change the world, to make a difference, and to carve your mark. I look forward to seeing all of the amazing things you will accomplish. I am so incredibly honored to have the privilege of graduating with you, and I wish all of you the very best. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2021. And now I will turn the ceremony over to Mr. Eric Pace, principal of West Bloomfield High School.
Welcome, families, friends, and loved ones, to the West Bloomfield High School 2021 Commencement Ceremonies. I'm so pleased to be able to host you all here in person to celebrate our graduates. I would like to begin by thanking a few individuals who have worked around the clock to pull this all off. To the WBHS and school district teachers, staff, and administrative assistants, you have all moved mountains to make this day possible for our students. To the parents, thank you for sharing your children with us. You have entrusted us to take care of your most prized possessions for the past 4 years. We appreciate your support, and you deserve this moment as well. To the school district maintenance, custodial, and auditorium staff for their efforts in assembling the stage, these seats, and for making it possible to have our celebration here today. To the West Bloomfield School District Central Office Administration and Board of Education, your guidance, empowerment, and trust have allowed our students to grow and to learn to become the graduates that you see before you today. And finally, to the West Bloomfield Education Foundation, the countless grants and support you have given us, and for the masks that each of our graduates received for their ceremony today. And then the graduates of 2021, congratulations. Today, we honor you for reaching one of the most amazing life milestones that one can achieve. Today, we recognize your graduation. We should start off by addressing the proverbial elephant in this outdoor room. Today's graduation is like no other in history. Today, you create history. Instead of focusing on what should have been, or what could have occurred, or what we have missed, I would like to focus on what can be, what will occur, and the impacts that you all will make. I would be remiss, however, to ignore the fact that our world, our nation, and our community has been in a state of unrest, uncertainty, and of hurt. As students, and now as graduates, a global pandemic and civil unrest have forever changed you. But that does not have to dictate or predetermine what comes next. As a class, I have been privileged to watch you grow from wide-eyed, nervous freshmen into the pillars of leadership in our school community. Your resiliency, determination, and your grit are unmatched. In the face of extreme adversity, you not only rose to the challenge, but you led and you overcame with a tenacity that I have never seen before. You are truly the future that our world is looking for. Looking forward, much of what we see may appear uncertain, but I beg to differ. I see a few things that are crystal clear. I can see that a new group of young adults is about to be thrust into this world to tackle problems that many before have never imagined. It will take your proven innovation, critical thinking, kindness, and creativity to provide clarity and progress to our future. I see in this graduating class in front of me doctors, policymakers, those willing to serve and to protect, those willing to fix and create things in ways unseen, and those who will be the agents of change in the two ways we know best, through empathy and education. Your dedication to your education and growth is unmatched. You are bringing forward the greatest thinking skills, collaborative tools, and creative problem-solving strategies that we have ever seen. What makes you truly unique, though, is how you empathize with others, to learn through feelings and emotions, and to stand with each other for the greater good. I see a group of people who are not divisive nor divided. I see scholars in front of me who can and will teach us how to work together and to steer us into calmer waters. For this, I am grateful. We can all learn from you how to put ourselves in a position to feel what others feel and to make decisions and take actions necessary to grow together. To quote Malcolm Gladwell from his book, The Tipping Point, to create one contagious movement, you often have to create many small movements first. I implore you to see what the world has to offer, reach out to your peers that are entering adulthood with you, and to create the small movements that lead to large change. This is where you take the adversity you have been challenged with, learn from how you overcame, and you become the leaders of not just tomorrow, but of today. As Malcolm Gladwell describes, look at the world around you. It may seem like an immovable, implacable place. It is not. With the slightest push in just the right place, it can be tipped. In Greek mythology, Atlas took the world onto his shoulders. No longer should that be one person's burden. This is your opportunity to take the weight of the world that gets heavier by the day and to show us all how to carry it together. You, the West Bloomfield High School class of 2021, you are the leaders who will be the first to lighten the weight of the world and teach us all how to do it together. Congratulations. I am so proud of what you have accomplished, and I cannot wait to see the impacts that you will have. Thank you. Dr. Hill, the candidates for graduation before you have met all requirements set forth by the state of Michigan and the West Bloomfield Board of Education to culminate their education as graduates of West Bloomfield High School. This includes but is not limited to 4 credits of mathematics, 4 credits of English and literature, 3 credits of science, 3 credits of social studies, 1/2 credit of health, 1/2 credit of physical education, 1 credit of fine or applied arts, and 3 credits of global language and/or career and technical education. Please accept my recommendation for each student seated before you today to become graduates of West Bloomfield High School.
Thank you, Mr. Pace. By the power vested in me by the Board of Education and in accordance with the laws of the state of Michigan, I hereby confer upon you the degrees to which you have demonstrated your entitlement to the satisfaction of this faculty. I therefore grant you full rights and privileges and challenge you to use your learning in such a way as to bring honor to your alma mater and to the entire family of mankind. Congratulations, graduates, on having achieved this milestone. This milestone represents a tremendous amount of hard work and dedication, and you can be proud of your accomplishments, your resilience, and your compassion for others. Today also represents the beginning of new and promising challenges as you embark on your continuing journey, whether that is going on to a college or university, a technical school, the military, or the workforce. Your journey will include unexpected challenges as well as unimagined joys as you pursue your dreams. As you begin your post-high school journey, I encourage you to reflect not only on the past 4 years, but especially on the past 15 months and how you can use the experience of coping with a worldwide pandemic that tested your resourcefulness and resolve to face the unexpected. From these experiences, you've learned the importance of being resilient. In a recent TED Talk, Dr. Lucy Hone, a noted psychologist, observed that resilient people get that terrible things happen and that suffering is a part of life and that we're not alone. Resilient people are good at carefully choosing what to pay attention to. They don't dismiss the negative, but find a way of tuning into the good and trying to find things to be grateful for. Resilient people ask themselves, is what I'm doing helping or harming me? They are kind to themselves, and by answering this question, they put themselves back in the driver's seat. Your resilience has been tested over the past 2 years, and it will continue to be tested in the future. As you begin life after high school, remember all that you've learned and experienced here, and position yourselves to seek opportunities and to continue learning, growing, and contributing to society while meeting life's challenges and enjoying life's adventures. As you do, heed these words from one of America's most prominent poets, Maya Angelou. She says, "Open your eyes to the beauty around you. Open your mind to the wonders of life. Open your heart to those who love you, and always be true to yourselves." Congratulations. And now it gives me great honor and privilege to get to the moment that you've all been waiting for. It's time to receive your diplomas. Yeah. Okay. 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 So,
Will the first row of graduates please rise?
thank you, Mr. Pace. So I have the pleasure of introducing the class officers. First we have Ava Bell, class president. Ava Schultz, class vice president. And Sahith Shankar, class officer.
I'm gonna go first. So I need to get my phone. That was on the podium.
Jacob Mullenix. Matthew Lee.
Elijah Burlack.
Autumn Woods. Jaden Miller.
Taylor Shepard.
Madison Brunson. Maya Williams.
Anansia Paler.
Oh my God. Ayana Scott. Melody Knapp.
Nick Gustaris.
Luke Stifter. Assad Hakim.
Mahmoud Al Sali.
Samantha Cooper. Anna Afford.
Alicia Mant.
Daryl Stocks. David Short.
Benjamin Basso.
Alexander Tooby. Rachel Taylor.
Johnson Ing.
Joseph Brown. Justin Allison.
Jacob Jakir.
Ethan Alexander Dorslavic.
Mick Gordonier,
Ethan Johnson.
Noah Klepaski.
Mason Jarbo,
Adir Fedida.
Andre Kizzy.
Dennis Uzanov.
Koya Takashita.
William Brophy,
Justin Nemo Yaldu.
Daniel Chanka.
Robert Ward,
Jordan Laurie.
Olivia Sargent.
Alexis McCallion,
Emma Wilson.
Cameron Hickey.
Ibad Khan,
Megan Neely.
Adriana Mansour.
Gretchen Dickinson,
Margaret Gauss.
Allison Lamb.
Amanda Rasmussen,
Griffin Utley.
Andrew Ingber.
Alexander Mills,
Isabella Weinman.
Flynn Murphy.
Tenny Tapuzian,
Violet Laugin.
Gigi Oddish.
Farah Musa,
Adriana Yaldu.
Lola Curcio.
Maya Geronimo,
Colin Patrick Hogan.
Terry Edward Newson Jr.
Carly Sears,
Destiny Branner.
Ajane Jackson.
Jaden Weems,
Robin Rushing.
Erica Burt.
Miles Stevens,
Issa Shakur McLaurin.
Christopher Reeves.
Sade Tiana Moore,
Avery Grace Considine.
Rachel Reamer.
Samantha Cassar,
Jillian Sinanis.
Selena Karim.
Aja Sajane Hijabi.
Amari Elam.
Taylor Jones.
Jade Rochelle Palmos.
Savannah Dodson.
Benjamin Batagi.
Salvador Alator.
Leighton Marsh.
Terrence Joyce.
Pearson Horn.
Joshua James Williamson. Yeah, Josh.
John Mormon.
Kawan Damac Harris.
Alonzo Munoz.
Olivia Marie Bryant.
Micaiah Lay.
Danaea Mills.
Catherine Josephine Yono.
Miriam Albadri.
Yusra Wasim.
Mariam Al-Kashali.
Abigail Freitag.
Royalty Francis.
Asia Robinson.
Mariana Stravopoulos.
Farah Pongtangkul.
Ren Joyrich.
Dima Diab.
Numa Arif.
Sophie Thalen.
Sophia Diaz.
Kiera Zole Whiting.
Janelle Karana.
Samantha Gervison.
Simone Grice.
Liana Christine Seaborn.
Richard Anthony Pittman.
Khalil Krosky.
Brendan Robert Treadwell.
Curtis Fletcher.
Sarah Raza.
Vaidehi Bata.
Leah Haddad.
Raina Eddy.
Jaya Kiana Noel Jones.
Jared August.
Jake Garter.
Isaiah Shockley.
Ronnie Budka. Takaru Burnett.
Paris Smith.
Mylea McNary. Melanie Sorkira.
Josh Yukawe.
Asphira Mischief. Adrian Marie Corey.
Jada Faith Marie Ninoshi.
Emma Filanowski. Sophie Michelle Mishiev.
Heaven Gilmore.
Diavion Demansky. Kara Elizabeth Palmer.
Hannah.
Darren Antonio Habib. Kareem Al-Hariri.
Layla Elise James.
Darian McGee. Chanel Bridges.
Michael Thomas.
Adriana Rice. Jordan Ellington.
Sophia Moberly.
West Bloomfield High School, class of 2021. Turn your tassels from right to left. Oh, mine didn't move.
And with that, I proudly present to you the West Bloomfield High School class of 2021. Congratulations.